start for FlyQuest to flat out its carry. Let's see if he can do it here up against OpTic, as Yuumi, Rise, and Aatrox will all get banned away.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what type of top lane champion select we're going to get, because FlyQuest will usually save first pick for Viper. Yesterday, he got the Riven into the Pike and was able to absolutely destroy the entire team. Whenever you get to see a Riven go for, you know, like the Death Dance build plus the Black Cleaver, it's like that full sustain 1v9 YouTube highlight style through the entire enemy team. That is the stuff of nightmares. So we'll have to see here how that goes, because they will not be able to save for the guaranteed last pick. That will be OpTic's benefit.
As Jace, we've seen FlyQuest flex this already, I believe, for Pobelter in mid lane. So a good option there for either solo laner, as a bunch of flexes were banned out here. Dokla, you know, gotta give him some credit.
There you go. A couple of flashes to the Riven here. Dokla giving him the salute. Definitely impressed when we do see some of the newer guys step onto the stage like this. Viper stated his goals early on were that people think of him when they think of FlyQuest. People are definitely thinking of Viper, by the way. That is the world that we live in. His Riven has become iconic to the LCS stage, not just in solo queue and terrorizing the challenger ladder. We'll see if he's the one on the Jace or if it gets rotated over to Pobelter, though. Olaf early lock-in here for OpTic. Meteos is one of the premier Olaf players that we have in the LCS. He has played this champion for so long, and he knows it extremely well as far as using it, especially in the early game, to gain advantages for his laners. So I think that's a really good early lock-in for OpTic.
I like the Civic here as well. Arrow just continuing to stay safe and consistent there from the bottom half of the map, but we'll see what FlyQuest have in store for their next two picks. It has you know, despite Viper's recent success, it has been a rough start for FlyQuest, but I think they're starting to find their footing after a week here as Lux is locked in for them.
Yesterday was definitely a huge victory for FlyQuest. Their first two games, you know, not starting out how they wanted to, but that was definitely a statement game yesterday. See if they can follow it up here. Yeah, that Lux again becoming really high priority, is flexible to support or mid lane. We'll see if it will be JJ on that one. It does feel more like a Pobelter champion here, but again, they easily could rotate and flex either the Jace or the Lux around. I think that's so important in the first half of the draft phase here.
Also taking Lee Sin here for Santorin, so she's the jungle matchup. Pretty aggressive for both sides.
This jungle matchup is mostly about Lee Sin using mobility to be where Olaf is not. Because, I don't know, it's been a long time. You know, the history of Lee Sin, stronger at some points than dueling other champions than others. I don't even know if I can remember a time where he was a strong enough duelist that he could take Olaf. And that was definitely not that case. Lee Sin's main strength is the mobility that you get with the champion. You have to use extra information to pull off higher, you know, skill cap plays, basically. This is a skill-intensive champion, also a scouting and information-based champion.
I like the Poppy here, though, from Dokla. Good into the Jace, if that's where the Jace is going. Been a really solid pick for Dokla in general, who has kind of swapped off from his Camille Yorick days to certainly a lot of Poppy, at least in these opening weeks. Phase 2 of bans, though, LeBlanc, Vlad, and one more now for OpTic. They'll probably continue to target out potential solo lane targets.
Yeah, I really do think the Poppy has been so good for Dokla, for OpTic in general. Let's see here. Are they going to continue to target? Yeah, it looks like they still have eyes on a couple of those flex picks. Morgana could be a mid laner, could be a support as well, similar to Lux. Are they sisters, by the way? I don't pay attention at all.
I don't know.
To the lore. If Freak was here...
Yeah, I was going to say, where's
Freak? You probably know that. I know there's
Sweet at Kobe.
It's her and Kale. There we go.
All right, we've solved it.
I like competitive scene, not really that big on the lore.
There's a Cindervan there for FlyQuest, taking that option away from Crown. So still a lot to be completed here on both sides. Pretty ambiguous, certainly on the FlyQuest side. OpTic a lot more telegraphed, but GP is up. Where? Okay. Well, you know what? Let's give him 10 seconds to finalize this pick.
Let's see. Okay, so LeBlanc, Syndra both taken out. And it looks like they want to retain last pick for Crown. That makes, I mean, it makes so much sense because Crown has been the MVP of this team for sure. right up there with Meteos. Meteos and Crown, the big playmakers for OpTic throughout pretty much all stages of the game. And he has also been, sometimes they're split pushers, sometimes they're big team fighter. So having that last piece come in after they get the full lineup is going to be critical. And they're leaving it up to FlyQuest. What's it going to be? Reveal your cards. Where will the Jace go?
Zaya picked up there for Turtle. And last pick with 12 seconds now for FlyQuest. Always fun to draft with flexes on blue side in particular. Have to do a lot of guesswork here. And at the end of the day,
they are going
to be Kennen.
Yeah. So technically, could be the Kennen mid. Proto Belt Kennen mid is definitely a thing. Has been used very effectively in the past. Definitely not recently, but it's a possibility still.
Well, we'll see what OpTic's last pick is here. Obviously saving for Crown, who has been kind of the other shining star for OpTic in these opening weeks.
Yeah. I mean, they have been absolutely insane. Meteos been...
Ooh, it's back.
Maybe the best jungler in the LCS, and Crown has absolutely dominated here. Twisted Fate once again. I like this again from OpTic, trying to make those map plays. They're the only ones in Summer so far using this champion. See if they can actually make those setups come to fruition. Again, they've got Arrow on Sivir. Very good. Late game. Huge team fight DPS. And he has been consistent. That is what they've been asking for him.
These are all the pieces, really, for OpTic that we've seen them to get this far, so far undefeated. But FlyQuest, definitely a different team that was challenging for, the top 4, top 5 spots in spring. Have not had a similar start as was their finish, but still on the up and up here, looking to go even after this weekend and hand OpTic their first loss and remove any undefeated teams after 2 weeks.
Yeah, FlyQuest, they're definitely hungry for some more wins.
First one feels pretty good.
Yesterday was a big one. Now they've got Belter on the Jace. Such a good early game mid lane champion here. We'll see how he can push in on the Twisted Fate. You always want to try and get as much pressure down on the Twisted Fate lane to pin him down and force him to wave clear in that lane. It's all about Jace trying to land those shock blasts, push up the minions, trying to harass him down as well. And the wards around mid lane become even more important because you get to see which side of the map the Twisted Fate is hovering towards. You can't ultimate all the way down there without first giving a little tell.
And certainly expecting both Meteos and Santorin to be pretty active given the jungle matchup here. And as you mentioned, Meteos has had an excellent split that's continuing a very healthy and successful career so far for someone that has changed teams countless times at this point, given how iconic he was when he first joined the LCS. Still going and still good, as it turns out.
Yep, and still an insane KDA.
That's true.
I haven't checked back in on it.
All right, so on a trademark pick here on the Olaf here, we'll see how Santorin does on the ever-popular Lee Sin. Looks like everyone's just spreading out across the river, though. So seen a lot of stacks for invades, at least for some vision. Seen a lot of sweepers also in the back half of today's games and in general from the junglers, but it's 10 trinket wards this time around.
Aha, but you speak soon, pastry time. This is the trick that I really like. You go out with your ward, you place your ward, go back, get your sweeper for your first gank pack. This is what Meteos is doing right now. You see that ward on the mini-map. He placed it right there. Boom! Don't even need to zoom in. And that is going to give a little bit of defensive vision for himself. And he's going to try and power clear a little bit through. The cooldown on his sweeper will be ready by the time he looks for a gank.
Well, it looks like a Raptor start here for Meteos, who doesn't need any help, really. Santorin will get some assistance. Perhaps no. FlyQuest deciding that 2v2 would rather get to lane sooner. So both junglers will start leashless and on opposite sides of the rift.
All right. Santorin definitely made really big waves in spring split for FlyQuest. Getting a lot of good early games for them. And now on Lee Sin starting red side. See if he can get... kind of up to the top side there. Viper on the Kennen going to try and bully Dokla, abuse the range matchup early on. Poppy's really difficult to do that against, by the way, though. That's why this is one of the consistently picked tanks. Poppy with the Doran shield has so much sustain. You can see there, you go for your autos, get your shield, then you can walk up and get some minion damage here during the window where he has the shield. Also, it makes it easier for Poppy to proc the grasp than most tanks because when your passive comes up, your auto attack becomes ranged and he can go try and proc that. in a little short exchange.
Viper getting things pushed in, ahead of course on CS, but big stack there for Dokla to take out, and I don't think it made it to the turrets, so just fine there for Poppy early on. Might even be ahead, actually, depending on how many more he has to get. And back down the bot side, Lux support certainly been picking up steam. Seen a lot of Guardian today, actually, but JJ is sticking with the Aftershock that I saw more when I first learned about this.
Yeah, it definitely was one of the... Oh, well, Big's actually moving up with the brush here.
Hook accuracy has been pretty good for Big this weekend. Ooh, nails Wild Turtle. Good double winding though for JJ, and that's going to be disengaged. As a nice little trade there onto Arrow.
Yeah, shield's coming through. It looks like Arrow's going to be the first one chucking his potion, but he's also the first one calling his jungler as Meteos heads down. Jungler smelling blood in the water here after that exchange. Because the minion wave's pushed up though, Turtle and JJ giving a lot more respect to Big's positioning inside that brush. And Meteos on the minimap gets sight of Santorin, goes for the invade, gets punished!
Shock Blast is nice. Roboto immediately going to follow up in the double up, ready to be donated over. It's first blood for Santorin.
Yeah, you mess with the jungler, then you get the mid laner there. Pobelter immediately reacts, comes to defend Santorin at the Raptor camp, and FlyQuest are rewarded.
Not the synergy we've seen from Crown and Meteos. Bit of an oopsie there as Olaf does go down, and Santorin now supreme control of the jungle. He's going to take the right side scuttle crab.
Yep, rule number one of Raptor camp invades, always contest the enemy mid laner. You cannot do that without your mid laner pushing up. Pobelter, as you can see on the screen right there, had all the minions pushing in his favor. Jace getting those early autos, trying to shove, did have a big wave building up, and he was easily able to come over, goes for the kill, didn't even have to flash for it. Meteos now on the Olaf, set definitely pretty far behind here. No flash for himself, no buffs to help clear.
Yep, he's going to have to go through and take the small camps one by one. Santorin still with the double buffs ready to go. Might be fancying another bit of pressure here in the top half of the map. Going to pop the Scryer's Bloom and start with the Scuttle Crab though. And protect Viper a bit on the left-hand side, who is pushing very aggressively as expected in the matchup.
Yep, Santorin going to secure the extra vision for his top laner and move in on the low mana Olaf. Not much threat left there. Face checking is definitely difficult though because his mid laner once again not there, has recalled. Deep ward placed by Santorin behind that Raptor camp though.
Continues to spot him. Scryer's Bloom sees Meteos there on the Krug camp, so he popped the sweeper to try and see if there were any wards. Doesn't spot the one that he was looking for. There's also a control ward in the red side brush as well. So a ton of information gained for Santorin after that nice and successful kill as Meteos look for the invade. And even Biggs going for a walk here through the river towards the mid lane.
Yep. Over a little bit of vision, so they have full awareness of his movements. Pobelter not extending past the minion wave. Easily able to avoid that window.
See Turtle and JJ trying to push in as a result, but Arrow not too worried. Civ is really good at just hugging the turret and taking down the minions one by one. Certainly a nice early bit of action there for FlyQuest. I was asking, which jungler was going to get an edge. I didn't expect that to be the way in which an edge was gained, but FlyQuest will certainly take it. And I think the nice thing, extending all the pressure that Santorin now has, because Meteos invaded and lost his flashes at Viper, who already wanted to be doing this in the 1v1, has so much freedom now to just play up and aggressive forever and ever.
Yep, that's a really good point there. Not able to punish the Kennen in any way because he got set behind so early. Now Meteos back out to the bottom half of the map, getting some vision down here around the river. See if they can gain control of this pathway. We saw an earlier roam from Big. This time around, it's going to be Meteos. Finds a surviving control ward here. If you really gain control of that pathway, it really opens up not only the Nautilus to roam mid, but also the Twisted Fate to roam bottom. And again, getting early gold onto a Sivir to try and fund that crit multiplying build can definitely go a very long way, since OpTic once again are fielding a fairly standard team fight with front to back. Dokla here, the front, of course.
And a little low on mana. Neither top laner wants to TP just yet. Viper happy just in his little lane kingdom for now. Santorin tags the Mountain Drake. Over he goes with a controller straight down in the pit. Looking to take the first dragon away for FlyQuest as well.
Yeah, slips right in. Very easy on Lee Sin. He also drops his control ward after the dragon does the lift-off move, by the way. So you can have more precise placement. One of those annoying things sometimes you see. He also didn't jump in and get knocked back from the liftoff.
Successful dragon take there. FlyQuest dual in, make sure to push out. Pobelta does the same, and it's first everything right now for Santorin, looking for first turret as well to complete the trifecta. Big and Arrow doing what they can. CS is even at least in bottom. In fact, mid lane is the same. It really is just the top lane that's running into any sort of 1v1 advantage.
Plate advantage going to, of course, the Kennen in the matchup. Tank duty is all about trying to get as many minions as you can at as little health cost as you can. And it is going to come also at the cost of your tower health. Viper pushing up and getting most of the advantage out of those plates.
Oh my goodness, they farmed for so long, he's got a proto belt already. Viper not going for the gunblade, interestingly. We've seen a lot of that today, but favoring a bit more all-in slash team fight.
Yeah, versus Poppy, don't really need it. So unless you're gonna go full Blade of the Rune King, full split push percentage damage versus him, then not really want to go that path. So he's going the other way, fully on the team fight. He's going to be a huge, huge team fight here. Kennen with Proto Belt can position so effectively towards the backside to really threaten the true DPS members. And since he's got such an open lane, you mentioned so much of the vision on OpTic's jungler for most of this game, it has allowed Viper to pretty much push without any answer and earn a lot of money off of the Klepto, off of the extra autos on the turret plates as well.
Expecting maybe the Rift Herald to get a bit of attention here when it does spawn. Viper again having so much control. Oh, Dokla tried to find the stun there, just missing the angle.
Looking for the corner of the wall. Still gets a good amount of harassment though. And you can see Poppy walks up, super tanky now, has the cowl, so the harassment is going to actually proc a lot of regeneration. It allows you to sustain so much more through the Kennen lane. And even though Kennen is split damage, a lot of the money's been invested early in the Proto Belt here after the Doran's Blade. And with the Doran shield, cloth armor, and the cowl, I think Dokla's finally hit a pretty smooth cruising.
Crown in mid lane, actually. Bit of the old switcheroo. Death touch there from Big, looking to get a kill on the OpTic side of the map as Meteos is able to collect it.
Yeah, clobbers him. They're going to get a lot of turret plates themselves. 3 members there after taking down the mid laner. That should at least be 1.
I like the pump fake ulti there from Crown. Goes left, looks like he's roaming bot. No, back to mid lane I go as Big roamed up to ensure that kill could happen.
Yeah, always got to be a little bit wary about following the Twisted Fate too. Let's take another look at it. Pobelta pushed up into the lane after Crown walks down into the river. A couple of little mind games there. He had a roam from his support and jungler on the other side. Twisted Fate is a magician. All about sleight of hand, Pastry.
That's true.
Misdirection.
The Rift Herald, I suspected, is at least getting awarded out by FlyQuest as JJ's roamed up to assist with some of the vision here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and that play really does go again to highlight this vision that OpTic have invested heavily in the river. This pathway allows you to roam your Nautilus and your Olaf up to create that play in the first place.
And again, for Arrow, who's been left alone quite a lot in this lane, still keeping up very nicely in CS. No first major item done for either AD. So Arrow just continuing to stay consistent while Big is trying to influence the map with the rest of the side. It's simple stuff, but I think for a lot of last split, we couldn't always see OpTic doing the simple things right. Sometimes it felt like they got too cute with their composition. Sometimes it just felt like the execution wasn't there, but it's been a very different look with the same set of players. It's nice to see OpTic finally find something that works for them.
Meanwhile, let's check in on the gold advantage. Big advantage for FlyQuest is Viper. Up almost 10,000 gold right now, exactly on the top side with all of the turret plates, and continues to mine
All
away.
plates.
He might not even need that Rift Herald picked up to be able to take the first tower. Pobelta sees Meteos in the jungle once again by the Raptors and gives him a little kiss.
Remembers last time? It's like, yeah, I liked that. But Meteos just runs away towards his support this time. 4 plates there for Viper. Only 1 more left to get the full value out of the turret. And still 2 minutes left. Again, maybe Herald can be taken for more plates, or the OpTic kind of shut down the rest of the map.
The 3-man Raptor steal here from OpTic. They get the last laugh, invading onto those Raptors. They steal it away. Big roams up for it. Crown's over there as well.
It's a sensible adjustment from OpTic. I like it. You know what? Didn't work out last time. Bring more people. as OpTic certainly have the run of the bottom half of the map and are using a lot of that in the midsection. Big is spending a lot of time together with Meteos and Crown. You know, it was a duo. We were talking a lot about Meteos and Crown before the game. Now it's turned into a trio as FlyQuest will use the top strength to start this Rift Herald.
All right, teleport used as well. This is on OpTic Vision, by the way. Dokula looking for a flank possibly as Big comes over. They're going for it. Teleport used.
Don't have Viper here either to try and really be a good teamfight weapon. There's a hook for Big there. In onto Pobelter, who's going to cut up at the pass. Crown roams in with the ulti, and that's enough as Viper straight into the team fight with a big ulti. Lux Laser going to get comboed in. The Rift Herald still up for grabs as well. They'll take down Dokula. The Rift Herald resets, and FlyQuest do get a counter kill.
Oh my goodness, everyone groups up there, and when Viper arrives, just spams the ultimate, gets it off, and annihilates them. That was after OpTic had such a good pick onto Pobelter. Big threw out the no-look hook over his left shoulder. Take a look at it once more. He's walking to the right there, is able to find the no-look hook onto Pobelter. Crown follows up with the Sylvain. You think, all right, they got that huge advantage, but they all group up on the teleport. They're like, Viper's like, great, everybody's arrived here for my ulti. Procs it, doesn't die. He flashed out, by the way, even with the ignite on him, so he didn't die. He turned around the team fight. Now we're trading objectives all over the map. Pastry Time Dragon going over to the side of OpTic. Meanwhile, top side, it is FlyQuest taking down the turret.
Yep, Ocean there for OpTic and top outer there for FlyQuest, who do collect all the firsts here. Turret plating has now fallen, so Viper no longer has extra gold to extract from the turrets, but still with the Rift Herald up. There are more turrets to be taken as Crown teleports back to mid lane this time around. Rod of Ages with 4 stacks on, and that Sheen looks to be a lit play in second here, so side laney, much more aggressive. First 2 items here for Twisted Fate. Surprisingly flexible as a champion build.
Yeah, I actually am a huge fan of the Rod of Ages starts for Twisted Fate players. It gives them so much help. It always feels like it's just enough to dissuade a lot of junglers going for the gank, right? Or to allow him to survive when you're in a side lane trying to split push and you just barely get away. It definitely does give you a lot of extra stability, and you don't really need the huge DPS output. Twisted Fate is about the map plays and the burst damage and the burst utility that you bring with the gold card that you have on arrival. Plus, as it charges up, you know, later on through the game, has a lot of value, very statistically efficient item for itself. 5 stacks so far, a little wide on that hook there from Big, as Santorin's able to walk away.
Still pressure here for OpTic, starting to continue to move people through the midsection. Stun from Dokula. Nails Santorin, picks up the chocolate and goes in with a steadfast presence, but rest of the team there to back him up.
Tank damage, never to be underestimated.
I think Santorin's okay as the FlyQuest watching a kind of a roving pack of OpTic. Even Arrow's joined the squad this time around. He's like, you know what? Let's all group up together and try and prevent any side lane situation from happening. Viper sticking down to the bottom half. Again, trying to take more turret damage down. But still a lot of game left to play here. FlyQuest up, but not by much. Poor Shelly's getting very lonely. Nobody wants to take the objective.
It's pretty much just the extra gold on Viper there for FlyQuest. Other than that, OpTic doing very well, and Crown even slight lead for himself too. Bottom side, Dokula continues to get harassed, but he's got plenty of health here to finish off the minion wave, push Viper in, keep him occupied, and start up Shelly one more time.
Don't be expecting a much slower game in general. Twisted Fate games tend to get drawn out because you have to play the map so efficiently. And OpTic are doing a good job so far, but again, FlyQuest find a avenue to fight. It is around the Baron pit, although Baron isn't up right now. Ulti, though, popped by Arrow, trying to get his teammates involved in some sort of scuffle.
Dokula's looking for a teleport, by the way. Poppy's still in the fountain, looking for a possible teleport behind them. Doesn't see it, so he's going for one in front, and they're just going to force down the objective.
Yep. From looking for the most subtle teleport to the absolutely subtle one, Dokula TPs into the front line, make sure they can get the objective safely, and there is a Rift Herald picked up for OpTic.
Wow, look how fast Crown got to those minions. Twisted Fate ultimate had been popped, so he just goes right over to the mid lane. Shelly is popped. They're immediately going to use it to try and take down that turret. This will be OpTic's first and really open up the map. You always want to get down the outer turrets as quickly as possible with the Twisted Fate composition so you can actually prey on those people moving between objectives.
Certainly so, as Crown already going to start his life now in the side lane, as he moves down towards the bottom half of the map. Red buff there over for Turtle.
Sounds like it could be the title of his memoir after he retires from League. Life in the side lane. By Crown.
How about it? As Viper still here. Although again, Twisted Fate not really interested in any sort of 1v1 duel. Just wants to push the waves and get out. And if no one's there, start hitting the turret. Twisted Fate 101's really easy. Turns out Twisted Fate, every other class is highly advanced. This champion is a lot more difficult than it looks.
It jumps from 101 to 500 level classes.
Yeah. Gonna take the blue buff for himself here though. Continuing the easy stuff here for Crown. But OpTic, solid position, keeping the gold lead about 500. Anytime you're under 1,000, has to feel pretty good. We do have a Drake, potentially, that the teams will be interested in 30 seconds. Ocean, always nice, but not a big... I don't want to say it's like a bad Drake, because I think all the Drakes are great. It's just like, people don't get excited. They only get excited for Infernals and Mountains.
Yeah, I mean,
And
so...
Freak, Cloud Drake.
Yeah, I feel like there's timings where different dragons are better also.
Yes.
Like, they're not just universally the same value. Here we go, though. Looks like OpTic are making their move over towards that Ocean Drake, and FlyQuest trying to defend the vision that they've fought so heavily to get here with this control ward by the side brush. Pobelter's on the opposite side, though, trying to join his team.
Potentially with some poke or pick here for FlyQuest is a good way to start things off, but keep track of Viper there on the cannon, much like the Nico in the last game for Cloud9. Certainly wants to be finding as many good engages and flanks as he can.
All right, trying to bait one more time. Control ward down, and they finally started up. How quickly can they burn it down, though? Because OpTic are running straight down mid lane with the Twisted Fate ultimate. They see everyone on Dragon. There's no minions, actually, under the Sivir there for them to push onto the turret. So all they get is the minion wave and the top wave crashing into that turret.
FlyQuest already cut them off. Nice spell shield there from Arrow to stop the accelerated shock blast, and blue buff will at least be taken away, so OpTic gets something here on the left-hand side of the map. Dokel also shoving in the top lane. The Crown is back down to his side lane once again. Went mid with his ulti to try and prevent this from happening, but as soon as he leaves, Tower takes a little too much damage, although Arrow and Meteor's here to try and prevent the push from being completed.
Yeah, Tower heavily weakened, but FlyQuest would have had to protect their minions further. There were only 2 shots there, and they didn't want to tank the tower longer in order to keep the backdoor bonus off. So, gonna back off after that, and in the end, Dokla will be the one with the tower secure.
OpTic actually get themselves ahead again, using that side lane power after opening up the mid. Very common in Twisted Fate compositions, and Dokla, he may have changed the champions he is playing, at least recently, but he has never lost his love for split push.
Still got to take the side turret. Crown gonna find the recall cancel here.
Level 14.
Yeah, Twisted Fate, because you get so much mobility, getting back out into experience range generally does have that advantage, but a 2-level lead.
Yeah, that's absurd.
That's definitely larger than usual. Let me see. I'm going to check on Pobelter, see how exactly far he's behind, because sometimes you'll get Crown just hitting 14, but it's almost a full 2 levels.
I mean, we talked about him, living a new life in the side lane perhaps. I think he's deciding that maybe, it's a good place to retire to, because he's clearly been farming up a storm 20 minutes through this game. There's Crown, they're going to get a look there with Destiny, but no aggressive gate again. More than fine to just use the ultimate for the information it provides you.
Yeah, I mean, he's been using that ultimate to just farm up these minions like a madman. Look at the difference there. You saw the difference in gold, but even just the minions here for Crown just powering through. And this is on a team where they have a Sivir, where Sivir in mid lane here, Arrow's trying to farm up that lane, but Crown trying to scrounge up multiple ones at the same time, and he is able to do that. Off to the Lich Bane, now 10 stacks into the Rod of Ages. It is at full efficiency with an extra large rod on top of that. When that gets turned into a death cap, talk about DPS from this Twisted Fate. That is going to be big Lich Bane procs.
Again, OpTic continuing to stick the trio together, play 1-3-1 really nicely so far through this game. FlyQuest going to look to try and find a grouping situation, often around a major objective is a good place to start, and Baron is available for these teams to start if they want to, but OpTic have done such a good job, again, playing this composition that they clearly are very comfortable with. No other team is playing Twisted Fate in the LCS right now, but OpTic are making it look good when they pull it out.
Yeah, I think Crown split pushing on most champions has looked really good for them, and Twisted Fate no exception. Definitely the most powerful in this game currently, as everybody else starts to try and catch up. Viper and Pobelter now both hitting level 13. But Crown still ahead of him, outpaces. As soon as they start to catch up, boom, level 15. He's quickly approaching the super low cooldown ultimate at 16 too, in which case, especially with these outer turrets down, it just feels like OpTic get to play the entire map, and FlyQuest only get like 75% of it.
And again, this turret being up, you can see how valuable OpTic know it to be. Thought it was Dokla. It's Arrow, don't worry about it. ADTP's always a fun one, but OpTic using their teleport, knowing that they probably won't need it for Arrow, and just wanting to keep the turret up for as long as possible. It is so frustrating as FlyQuest to not have access through the mid lane, and for this kind of stuff to happen, because now Pobelter find himself too far forward, going to try and fight his way out, but Crown going to collect it. It's Meteors that grabs the last hit, and it's just so easy.
Yeah, Crown says, get out of my side lane, and they're going to have Meteos down there, so that means FlyQuest start up the Baron. They saw the jungler bottom. They know Crown is there, but Crown has teleport. So all they can really get out of this Baron attempt would be a teleport. They don't even get that. OpTic chased them off, and Crown still split pushing. This is mid and bottom. Gonna be destroyed with pure macro from OpTic. Twisted Fate earns them objective on top of the kill.
They're at 1 point behind, or even in turrets, and now they're up by 4 as they take 2 tier 2s in the bottom half of the map. FlyQuest, you have to find some sort of team fight. Cannot let Twisted Fate pull you apart.
OpTic may be the best LCS team at playing the full map. They committed to this style early on. They have been drafting for it, and it is really paying dividends for them. Now with another dragon spawning here, even though the mountain doesn't usually draw fireworks like you're talking about for the Infernal Drake, it provides more objective pressure, and on a drawn-out map like that, it's critical. So a Mountain Drake for OpTic here would be huge to even them up with FlyQuest and give him also the added true damage that they're looking for.
Nice new hat for Crown as well. Deathcap now done.
That's what we were looking for. Big 3-item spike. Pobelter's only on 2 items, and he's on a Jace. Jace is going to fall off super heavily, plus he's behind, so Crown is just so incredibly massive in this game now. Level 16, he's 3 levels up on him, and they start Baron again. OpTic are here, though.
Viper's not. He can TP, but FlyQuest have to be careful. There's Viper. This is the play they need to make. Crown, though, he spotted the TP. He's running straight forward, but now they're going to turn the fight back around. Crown, continuing to keep him out of there, is going to actually go down and start up the cannon so they can win the rest of the fight. Dokla that takes that wild turtle. The look on Pobelter almost gets him, but Meteos will flash in to make sure the kill happens as Viper finally able to get access to the team fight, but he can't even kill Meteos. Interstacy goes straight into the hook as Santorin can't collect him either. OpTic absolutely smashed that fight as a long-range gold card finds Santorin. Crown looking to pick off even more over the wall for Santorin. He will live, but OpTic, such a well-played fight.
Yep, and Meteos healed right back up, so he's going to be able to start up the Baron. This should be an OpTic objective here. Let's see, Lux ultimate coming off cooldown shortly, but I don't think it's short enough. Maybe there's a Hail Mary here for FlyQuest.
Not that much damage from the support Lux, but it might be enough at rank 1. Nope, not even close. Not going to fire. It wasn't up. It was about a second away.
Close.
As OpTic get the Baron.
Yeah, not going to be able to get it. There was a health there that would be executable, like 175, I think I saw at some point. Regardless, though, cooldown's not there. Dokla just charged right in there. They pop the Sivir ultimate, and then frontline just charges down Wild Turtle. Dokla flashes for it, bonks him with the hammer, and gets the kill. Now, they did get the kill over the wall there with JJ, but Santorin and JJ already on the backside. Viper's 4-person cannon ultimate doesn't find anything. It was maybe 12 HP away from getting Meteos there. So close, and yet so far. Meteos and the rest of OpTic now charging through with Baron. And what's better for a split push team
exactly
time than a Baron?
You thought it was frustrating before. Don't you worry. Gets even more exciting for FlyQuest to try and defend this siege. Already 6,000 gold down, eliminating any early advantage that FlyQuest had. And Crown looking to guide the minions in bottom lane towards that inhibitor turret. Denied there by Dokla, stopping Santorin from popping in with a resonating strike. And Crown's already there to the bot lane, and people must go to answer him. In fact, all of FlyQuest show their faces down here briefly.
Yep, level 17, triple item power spike. It's got a stopwatch as well. Ooh, maybe we get to see one of those 500 level classes, the Messiah class.
It's an old one, but a good one.
It's a very old one. A lot of people won't know Messiah, but you basically teleport in on Twisted Fate, try and be the initiation, immediately get your Zhonya's off. Not going to be the case here. Doesn't actually pull the trigger, and then Baron buff is going to be enough to just whittle down that inhibitor regardless.
Still looking for that turret here. Inhibitor in mid lane is going to melt, and they're not even the strongest pushers on the OpTic side. I think that blue card did way too much damage, and the Baron Nut minion's going to collect most of the remaining health. Crown, though, with a gold card, something you see from a lot of good Twisted Fates is in sieges, they'll just pull a gold card and threaten you so you can't go in, and when it's about to run out, just hit the turret. Just like that. That's 2 inhibitor turrets down for OpTic. And 2 inhibs as well. FlyQuest running out of time, running out of angles to try and find for these team fights. OpTic playing such a clinical game. Up about 8,000 gold as they look for Crown to reset once again and buy some silly item.
Yeah, pace your time. We're living in a world where OpTic will be the #1 team in the LCS, the only undefeated team if they take down FlyQuest here. And they're making it look really easy too. It's the control that they're doing this with. Yes, their schedule for the first week was definitely one of the lighter ones, but taking down FlyQuest here off the back of FlyQuest's victory is a big statement. This is a team that has really come together. People are worried about how, oh, Crown coming over, how is he actually going to mess with the team? You know, people bouncing Meteos around teams, when is it actually going to fit? Well, it fits right here. OpTic have decided on their style, and it is map wide.
You can only say, oh, they had easy opponents for so long, because if they keep winning, it doesn't really matter. If they can beat everyone through the first round robin,
yeah, if every opponent is easy.
Exactly. Then, oh, they're just the best team. And 4-0 looking pretty sweet here for OpTic if they can finish off this game. FlyQuest have ways back into it. We saw how good their team fighting was yesterday. If Viper can find similar moments on the cannon, it is possible, but it is very difficult with the way OpTic are playing.
Yep, Dokla gonna knock him right out of range, pop the ultimate there, and they're gonna force down the last remaining inhibitor. Once you get all 3, the super minions just don't stop coming.
Yep, we already had hard mode, you know, with the Baron there from the Split Push team. With all inhibs down, it's whatever level is above that. Mega mode, Omega mode.
Omega low mode.
I mean, feels pretty easy to play League of Legends. When you have a Baron buff and 3 inhibs down, and Crown's even just running interference. He's going to start blue carding the Nexus turrets if he can get close enough. Inhibitor 3 falls, and OpTic just closing in for the kill. FlyQuest, if you want to make a last stand, you got to make it quick. But OpTic are just honestly not giving them opportunities. It's one thing to say do something, it's another to have something to do when your opponents are just starving you of every possible resource.
Nice spell shot there from Arrow. Small chunk, but there it is.
Oh, what a Zhonya's from Crown! Flashes out of the way, Viper finds an ulti, but that's going to be all she wrote on this one. OpTic just play it perfect from minute 1 to minute 31. They're going to clean out the Nexus and they'll finish week 2 as the LCS's only undefeated team.
And they're still going. Dokla now trying to get some damage. There's no way you get a kill on a champion before the Nexus dies, though. And congratulations to OpTic. Say what you want about the schedule, but they have not lost yet.
An appropriate celebration at the end. Just trying to pick up a few more kills as FlyQuest continuing the rough start to the split. Felt so good after the win yesterday, but not enough to best OpTic in their split push this game. Crown's Twisted Fate immaculate in that game.
Yeah, I think the only mistake in the game was the early Raptor contest, where as soon as it happened, they're like, oh, whoop, no, it shouldn't have been there. Pole Belter was able to come over and get the kill, but aside from that, it was map-wide control from OpTic. Once again, the Twisted Fate gets another victory.
And a well-deserved one, too. Everyone on OpTic knowing their role, they're putting together good compositions. They're just playing good League of Legends.
Yeah, I mean, a level 18 Crown at the end of the game. Nobody else past 15 there. Playing the side lanes, farming up minions as quickly as possible, pushing them in, wasting the enemy's resources, and still, all these Twisted Fate ultimates finding such good picks for themselves. As soon as someone else shows in the side lane, you know, they're not afforded the same versatility, right? Meteos goes down there and Crown's like, boom, we're killing this person, teleports in, they're able to turn the numbers.
And it's one thing to have the map open up, to be able to split push and execute that way if your opponent doesn't give you any resistance. FlyQuest tried to find teamfights, and OpTic even won in those situations.
Definitely looking very good for them so far in summer. We'll see where it starts because the road does get a little bit more rocky from here as we look forward with the schedule. Excited to see how it plays out.
Certainly so. Of course, the LCS cooldown is coming up, but we'll stay with us for a little while longer while they get all set up. I'm excited to see what Sneaky and Licorice have to draw in today's episode.
Ooh, I was going to say who's on it today because
Sneaky and Licorice.
That's going to be a fun one. The C9 members, they did get their first loss today, so hoping they're not too sad on Countdown. They're usually pretty jovial. I'm
Difficult
sure they
to
can
be upset when you get to play Science Speedway.
There you go. Just meme your way out of a loss, right? That's all. That's
I mean, they meme their way to win, so I have to assume that the strategy stays consistent despite the result of the game.
Definitely. Pretty much no other look from that roster.
And I guess I wonder at what point do OpTic run out of champions to play this strategy with? Because yes, the Twist of Fate is like the sharpest version of a split push comp, but they do it with every champion they pick up, it feels like. They just have a set style and they're playing it very well.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of tools I would like to see them still utilize. All of these different globals and semi-globals that we have in the game, varying levels of power. But, if they're the ones that are able to dig up Twisted Fate and, nobody's using it and be like, this is still good, we can still use this, then what's to say, they can't do the same with, bring back Yorick, split pusher,
Ooh.
the new Mordekaiser.
Oh, that's true.
Because new Mordekaiser, doesn't have global or anything, but he's basically the split pusher that you just push in the lane, and when people come to gank you, you choose someone. That someone, you ult, you kill them, and after you get out, okay, yeah, you probably die, if they brought a lot of people, but you take one with you, and that's the sacrifice. During that time, your team should be able to get something. It's just a different look on split pushing that I want to see.
I didn't even think about that.
It's the sacrificial. There's only one road.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the ultimate top lane champ, because every time you get ganked to the top lane, what is happening? Get out of my lane. I hate this. Mordekaiser's the great equalizer. He's like, hey, there's 3 people here. Nah, just one for now.
As long as you have your ultimate, just try and do that.
If you don't have your ultimate, don't do that.
Yeah,
Get
at
out
least
of
that's
the
the
side
theory.
lane. We'll have to see. Kiana's coming out too. My goodness, that champion is complicated.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked at it yet. All I saw.
It's not going to help you. You'll watch the trailer and be like, I still don't know what she does.
Yeah, I saw the video.
Didn't help you, right?
Something related to different elements.
Yes.
Captain Planet champion?
All right. Well, enough from us. From on the game, and to wrap up the day, we're going to throw it over to the LCS cooldown.